Does your team look awful for Game Week 4 currently? Are you considering using the free hit chip? If so, this video is for you. I'm going to go over what a draft would look like for free hit in Game Week 4 if I were using the chip. The first thing I'll do is go through the fixtures this week, because when I'm planning a free hit, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd look at what fixtures I want to target and then fill my team up with those players. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so I've got all the fixtures on screen for Game Week 4. We'll go through each one. I won't spend ages on it, but I'll just basically look at the fixtures that I'm looking to target for Game Week 4. So, Arsenal Forest. Now, pre-season, this wouldn't have been a game that I like the look of. However, Nottingham Forest haven't been good defensively. So, I don't hate this fixture. This is a sort of fixture where I'll be looking at one or two players. There's some fixtures in here, the best 2 or 3 fixtures, I'll be looking at and thinking, okay, I want to triple up on this. Then there'll be some fixtures where I'm thinking, okay, 1 or 2 players from this fixture. Then there'll be some fixtures where I'm thinking, just avoid. So this Arsenal Forest one is one where I think, okay, maybe 1 or 2 Arsenal players I'll be looking at, but I'm not thinking, okay, I need to triple up on Arsenal here. Bournemouth Brighton, this is the typical example of a fixture I would want to avoid on free hit. Both teams are pretty unpredictable. Bournemouth less so, but Brighton, I mean, I don't think Brighton's a good fixture for any team. I also don't think it's a bad fixture for any team. I just personally won't want to go anywhere near that one. Palace Sunderland is definitely one I'll be targeting. Palace Sunderland, I mean, home to a promoted side is triple up territory. So Palace will be a triple up fixture. Everton Aston Villa. Now, this is one that pre-season I'd have been saying, okay, maybe 1 or 2 Villa players. However, Villa have looked absolutely awful. Everton attackers look pretty good. This is a pretty unpredictable fixture, in my opinion. We could see Villa come good, or we could just see Everton continue to be good and Villa continue to be bad. This is the example of a fixture that I wouldn't want to target on a free hit. Then we've got Fulham Leeds. Now, Leeds have been okay this season. However, the games that they've been okay in have been the ones that they've played at home at Elland Road. So this away, I mean, Fulham are at home against Leeds. So I don't particularly hate this fixture. This isn't like, I don't think Fulham have really been good enough for me to say, okay, I want to triple up on Fulham. This is the type of fixture where I'm thinking, okay, maybe 1 or 2 Fulham players. Newcastle versus Wolves. This is a fixture that I'll be looking at for sure. Wolves defensively have been pretty bad. Going forward, they've been quite good. Defensively, they've been really pretty bad. And Newcastle, apart from Game Week 3, have been good going forward. Game Week 3, they did some weird formation where they didn't play Barnes, they didn't play Elanga, who have both been really good. So I'm expecting them to change that for Game Week 4. So again, I'm going to ignore Game Week 3 from Newcastle's point of view, just because I think that was a bit of a weird game. So Newcastle is one that I'd definitely be looking at going double Newcastle, potentially triple. West Ham Spurs. Now, before Game Week 3, this is one that I'd have been saying, okay, I want to be taking Spurs players here for sure. West Ham performed really well in Game Week 3 against Forest. Now I'm not quite as sure on that one. This is one where I'd say it's definitely not a triple up on Spurs for me. Definitely not. And Spurs were bad in Game Week 3 against Bournemouth, really bad. So that kind of puts me off that one. I think there's enough fixtures elsewhere in Game Week 4 that I don't really need to go about that fixture. West Ham are typically good against Tottenham as well, so that's one that I don't particularly trust. Brentford, Chelsea. Bit of a derby here. Chelsea have been really good, obviously. Brentford have been bad defensively. However, this isn't particularly a game. Brentford have been getting better, so this isn't exactly a game that I'm thinking, okay, I need to triple up on Chelsea. It is a game though where I'm thinking, okay, maybe 1 or 2 Chelsea. Burnley, Liverpool. This is a triple up on Liverpool. I don't need to say anything more than that. City against United. That's a complete avoid. United are just unpredictable. Against Arsenal, they were really good. Against other teams that haven't been. United are the kind of team that kind of almost get up for these bigger games, especially derbies. So, and City haven't exactly been incredible apart from Game Week 1. So that's a game I'll be avoiding. So the teams that I really like and will definitely be tripling up on, Liverpool and Crystal Palace against Sunderland and Burnley. Then the other teams are Newcastle, Fulham, Chelsea, maybe Arsenal. So let's get into how I'd then go about planning these. So kind of the way I would go about it in short is look at the teams that I'm definitely tripling up on, which is Liverpool, Palace, potentially Newcastle. I'd fit their players in first and then work around it. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, right. We're starting with our triple Liverpool now. Salah's a must. I'll be captaining Salah if I was on free hit. Even if not, Salah is the best captain this week for sure. So Salah is in. Van Dijk is definitely in as well. I think we haven't seen him. I mean, in game week 1, we saw loads of defensive contributions from him. Since that, we haven't. Not expecting loads against Burnley either, really. But I do want a triple up of Liverpool. I don't think there's enough kind of solidity in going with 3 attackers. If we knew exactly who was going to start everywhere in the attack, then a triple up on attack would be where I'd go. I don't hate just risking it and trying to pick 3 attackers either, but I wouldn't be doing that on free hit. I'd go with Van Dijk as a safe option in defence. I would want to double up in attack though. Now, I've got Wirtz in here. The reason I've got Wirtz in here currently is just because I currently think he's the safest to start out of the others. I mean, Salah will start regardless. Then you've got Ekitike out front, you've got Gakpo on the left and Wirtz in the middle. Now, obviously, Isak has just arrived. I don't really expect Isak to start against Burnley. He hasn't had a pre-season. He hasn't played any minutes since May. So I don't really expect him to start straight away, albeit he will be getting minutes, or probably starting for Sweden in these internationals. I'm recording this before Sweden have played an international game, but I'm presuming he will play in those games. So he will get some match fitness there. He just wouldn't have been around the Liverpool training. He wouldn't have been around the Liverpool squad, the team. So I'm not really expecting a start. However, I do expect him to come on and get minutes. There is a world where he does start, of course. And I think the 2 players he's most likely to start over is Ekitike or Gakpo. What that could look like is obviously just a straight swap in and out for Ekitike. Or Ekitike goes to the left and Gakpo drops out. The problem being is that they've both performed really well. Gakpo and Ekitike have been the 2 best performers in this Liverpool attack so far. So it's up to you what you do there. I've gone for Wirtz here just because, like I say, I think he's the safest. I don't think you're going to see Isak come in for Wirtz. And there is obviously a world where Wirtz doesn't start and so Boslai starts there, given Bradley is probably fitting out right back. But I think he's the safest to start. Also, he is the most expensive out of him and Gakpo. I didn't want to put Gakpo in, build a team around it, and then not be able to afford Wirtz. So I've got Wirtz in here. This could be Gakpo if you think he's fine. But this would be my Liverpool triple up. Now, the next team I triple up on is Palace. This is a really difficult triple up. Now, it would be easy if Sarr was fit because it would be Mateta, Sarr, Munoz. That's simple. However, Sarr looks like he's going to be out now. Mateta makes too much sense. I wouldn't go without Mateta in this free hit at all. He's on penalties. He will get all of the minutes. He is the attacker to go for from Palace. Munoz is also an absolute lock in this team. I don't see a more attacking defender. He's definitely going to get minutes. When Sarr came off, he actually went into a more attacking position as well. Not sure how likely that is. Obviously, Palace have got some new signings like Pino, who probably does come in. I just think it's a bit of a risky play to actually start him on a free hit. Now, if you've got a good bench, then it's fine, which you can have on a free hit, but I don't really think it will matter because Pino will come on and get minutes regardless. So if he doesn't start, he'll come on as a sub, making it pretty pointless. You could go with a different Palace midfielder, but I just don't really like any of them, whereas Lacroix has been really, really good for defensive contributions. So I think that you can spend the extra money over Richards there and go for him. So these are the Liverpool and the Palace triple ups. Now, Newcastle was another team that I really, really liked the fixture for. So I've gone with a triple up there as well. Pope is a pretty safe option in goal. Barnes and Elanga, I really like both of them. Now, neither of them started in game week 3. They did start in game week 1. They did start in game week 2. Gordon is out still for game week 4. So Newcastle performed really well in Game Week 1 and 2 when they both started. Both of these players performed really well. In Game Week 3, Newcastle as a team didn't perform as well, in my opinion. So I personally expect them to go back to the system that they played in Game Week 1 and 2, which means Barnes and Elanga both start. Now, I could be wrong on that. If you don't want to take the risk on that, then that's fair enough. But I really like both of them in there. And goalkeeper-wise, I mean, there isn't any other real attacker from Newcastle to go for to triple up on. I mean, you could go Osula, but they've obviously signed the new German striker and they've obviously signed Visser. So one of them maybe plays in there. Who knows? You can't really guess that forward spot. You could go for Visser or the new German striker if you really wanted to guess, but I probably wouldn't want to. So I've gone 2 attackers. I've then got Nick Pope in goal. Goalkeeper doesn't really matter who it is, but I just really like that fixture. So I've gone in there. Then the rest of the team is obviously just 2 forwards and a bench. So the 2 forwards I've gone for, I mentioned that I don't mind that Arsenal versus Forest game. So Gyökeres is in. He's on penalties. He should get really good minutes. Forest defence looked bad against West Ham. It's more that I just like Arsenal and Gyökeres. João Pedro is also in. I do like the Chelsea against Brentford fixture, not as much as these other fixtures, but I do think João Pedro is just a fantastic option now that Delap's out especially. So I've got João Pedro in there. The bench, I've got Dubravka and Esteve. Neither of those are going to actually play, so it won't really matter. They could be anyone. I've got 0.7 million in the bank here with my team value as well, so you could upgrade those if you really wanted to, but it won't matter. Then I've got King and Anderson from Fulham. I do quite like that fixture. I don't think, like I mentioned earlier, Leeds haven't been as good away from home as they've been at home. It's a very small sample though. They've played 2 games at home and 1 away, so the sample is tiny, don't get me wrong. And that away game was Arsenal. So maybe we can't read into that too much. Maybe they just are quite good defensively, which is why I don't like this fixture quite as much. Again, if it was Liverpool versus Leeds or something, then I'd love it. But I also don't really trust or love the Fulham attack. I don't think it's as good as some of these other attacks. So that's why I haven't got one of their players in my starting 11. I also don't really trust who's going to start. Muniz has been starting up front instead of Jimenez, but that could easily switch. The midfielders as well, or the players behind the striker anyway, they've just signed quite a few new attackers. So can't really be sure who's going to start there either. The likes of Iwobi maybe should start. King probably should start, but none of those particularly excite me. They're fine as bench options. Anderson, I think, is a really good bench defender if one of these other guys don't play. He should be good for defensive contributions, and clean sheet chances are there as well. So this is roughly what I'd be going for. These are the teams that I'd be targeting at least. I also don't hate if you went for a Chelsea defender, like Cucurella in there is fine. You could take Van Dijk out. You could try a Liverpool attacking triple up if you really wanted to go there. Then you could put Cucurella in there. So that is an option. Or you could go with a Newcastle defender, one of the fullbacks like Trippier, Livramento. But I couldn't be that sure that Hall doesn't go in there for a start either. So this is roughly what I'd be looking at anyway. Like I said, there's 0.7 million in the bank, so you can upgrade certain spots if you want to. But let me know what you think of the team in the comments. Let me know what you change. Let me know if you're on free hit as well. If you like the video, do hit like, do subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.